There's one single medic there, though, but all of these forces getting completely picked off, and Kwanro now should be able to comfortably hold that third gas, get his tech going, ready hive tech up, alongside Illusion Chip. He was producing Hydras, so I assume he's going to go for workers. He might actually decide to skip that now. On the opposite side, we see White finally getting his science facility. He has that starport up as well, and honestly, he's lost some SCVs. He's lost pretty much all of his ground force. I really don't think he's going to be transitioned into two-port science vessels. He has adding in even 2 more barracks because he really needs to produce forces really quickly. He has to sacrifice a starport for those additional quick barracks, I feel. But he really needs to produce and really needs to keep those mutas from harassing. Some mutas dying there from Kwanro. He's put up a lot of turrets, so I don't think Kwanro's going to be able to actually harass his economy safely anymore, but at the very least he's still going to be able to have map control, going to go all over the place. Light has a couple of tanks meanwhile, so yeah, he's only going to be producing, at least for the moment, off of one starport. His science vessels, that is. Kwanro meanwhile saturated the lower left and very beautiful, and is going to start a contain, has 5 lurkers in play. Mutalisk, some Zerglings alongside to support, just get him inching a little bit closer, and Light going to be forced to run a little bit to the right. There is that science vessel in play, picking off several Mutalisks, but he really doesn't want to engage. Tanks come in close, they're going to be able to fire from range. Lurkers going to be forced back from farbats. Some farbats in play there. From farbats? From farbats in play tonight. But lurkers, tanks, medic marines, science vessels, but I still feel Light is in a pretty bad position. Science vessel also has to be very careful not to get picked off. I think a couple of Scourge would be absolutely enough. Scanning the position just to make sure. And even a lot more lurkers on the way. Defilerman alongside 2 evolution chambers. So Kwanro's just slowly macroing up like crazy. He's going to be able to take a 4th very safely, I feel. He's going to run on this for a little while. Stay on... Just get the lowest hive tech. Basically get those defilers out there, and with that I think that's going to be enough. Losing a lurker there, but I don't think it's... losing a Mutalisk there as well. It doesn't have that many Mutalisk anymore because of the tech switch. But actually inching forward a little bit, putting down a couple of creep colonies. He's just basically going to give himself a large room just in case Vera losing a lot of medic marines there, getting them surrounded, a small group. But honestly, I feel Light's micromanagement this entire game really hasn't been micromanagement or decision-making, actually. It hasn't really been in top form. Kwanro meanwhile just sunken him up at his natural expansion just to feel safe, just in case Light is moving towards his base right now, just so he can fight back those siege tanks. They're going to be forced to siege against those first science vessels to start off with. Some Scourge are going to come out. They're going to be able to pick off the first... Oh, no, get it picked off. Almost thought he was going to pick up science. So going to get started with the radiating of some of these lurkers. There's a Defiler there as well. Thank God he radiated, but he's actually going to skip the entire sieging, moving in his medic marines. Ooh, a lot of them getting shot with those lurkers, but I think he has the armor upgrade up for his medic marines. So lurkers are not one-shotting those marines, or else all those marines on the ground would have died in seconds. Science vessels moving in, just so as the siege tanks can move in against the science vessels. Dark Swarm coming up is gonna... Actually, don't think it's gonna save the lurkers. There are siege tanks in place, but the Defiler's still gonna move out. Zergin's gonna move, get a Dark Swarm right above this mid range and tanks. Tanks gonna be forced to siege off. Some of those are gonna get killed. Lurkers coming in close as well. Scourge coming in, gonna get picked off. No, oh, do manage to pick off the science vessel, but Light gonna be forced to push back. Still wants to stay, still wants to keep up this pressure. He's attacking the natural expansion because if he knows that if he can pick this off, he's going to have a road straight to the main. But honestly, I feel you might want to focus at the lower left hand instead. Take a base that's probably easier to pick off. But there are Nidus canals in place for Kwanro, so overall I feel he has the advantage. He has a fairly good position. His economy is a little bit stronger, I feel. He's had absolute saturation this entire amount of time without any sort of disruption. And he's moving out, just losing those Dark Swarms, absolutely beautiful. Those Defiler play, nice. Zergling's moving out, just picking off a tank here and there, picking off a few forces in there. He's going to lose his Defiler, but still overall he's playing a very good game of StarCraft. Might even manage to get another pseudo container. Of course, he's not really going to get that big a contain because going to get a lurker just outside the natural expansion of Lights. But these lurkers are not going to be able to stop these many greens for too long. They're going to be able to pick off these lurkers fairly easily. And is actually going to move towards the lower left-hand position. He has actually his forces split into 2. I think Kwanro has enough to defend this lower left-hand. Has some Scourge in play, has a bunch of Zerglings, several lurkers. I think Light figured out what was happening there. Doesn't really want to do much else. Kwanro, meanwhile, near the middle of the map, is going to move out with quite a few forces engaging the forces of Light. Dark Swarm coming up. Zerglings coming in to engage the Medic Marines. Medic Marines at least picking off as the Zerglings come in. For the Plague also coming off, not really hitting too much though. but Zerglings yet again running around, trying to get in close, picking off the tanks. Yes, picking off all the tanks. Light has reinforcements coming far too late. Could have actually saved the medics. Not going to save the medics. Oh, okay, it saves one medic that happens to be Plague, so that's not too great. Another Dark Swarm going to come off. And honestly, Kwanro is just being very irritating with these Dark Swarms. Light not really being allowed to engage. Going to go towards the lower left hand. I think a Dark Swarm Irradiate going to come off the Lurker and the Defiler. Silence also in play. There are those Scourge. Light has to be very careful. Micro against the Scourge. Dark Swarm on the ramp, and that's it. You got to... If you got a Dark Swarm on that ramp, you basically got to either pull back or you're going to run in anyway past the Dark Swarm. You're going to take some damage as you do so. Several drones being kind of idle there for Kwanro. I think he should at this point think of taking that natural expo. He should clear this force up. I think he definitely can do that. He doesn't want to hurry in it, but I think he should be able to pick up his third. Might even do that at the 11th, at the 12 o'clock. Pick up his fourth, so he's going to be in position. Zergling's going to come out, engage the Medic Marines, going to pick off one of the Science Vessels with Scourge. But overall didn't do too much against ground forces. Light, meanwhile, picking up his third at the 3 o'clock. There's a Lurker there. Scan, 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 please. Light, please. Light, 3 o'clock. Scan, please. Oh, God. And meanwhile, Kwanro, as he does this, going to move out to his own lower left-hand natural expansion, going to clear up those forces, force them back. There's a drone coming off, so I assume that is indeed going to take those base, take that base. Kwanro right now, what he has to do, it's very important that he doesn't allow Light to get back into this game. Sip of tea, sip of green tea, the steroids of StarCraft. That's right. That's right. Not my quote, by the way. That's thanks to In Control. Thank you, In Control. I don't know if you coined that, but that's where I heard it. So kudos to In Control for calling green tea the steroids of StarCraft, and I highly agree. Steroids of everyday life, really. Steroids of commentating StarCraft as well, definitely. Let's see. Zergling's going to come out, engage it again. Scourge going to pick off another Science. The Light, at the very least, managing finally to keep most of his forces alive. Still managed to get some of them picked off here and there. Oh, Plague on those Science Vessels. But Kwanro, he's mostly engaging with very small forces. He does have an Ultra Cameron up, probably saving gas just so he can get a huge Ultra army up. He learned, I think, from his game with Bogus. You know, going big air just doesn't suit me. Instead, I'm going to go into late game on Ultralisks. And honestly, Light should have the advantage in most cases, but Kwanro, meanwhile, going to take the 9 o'clock, so he's going to be on 5 base if he manages to keep that there. A lot of Plague Science Vessels, so one Silmutos would do a lot of damage. But if he manages to keep these 2 bases, the lower left hand, manage to take keep that 3 o'clock, even if Light has been allowed, 9 o'clock, I'm sorry, even if Light has meanwhile been allowed to establish the 3s, still not really going to be able to do much. Light even has a few idle SVs, probably mostly because he already has full saturation all over the place. And as Light spots out that Kwanro's going to go for 5 base, he really has to take a 4th, and right now, because before Kwanro is allowed to get those two to full saturation, before he's allowed to hit that economy, those additional 2 gases, Plague's going all over the place. Kwanro really using this just mix of few Zerglings and Defiler very beautifully, running with Zerglings all over the place, just control group of Zergling there and there and there. Many of them are getting picked off, but for him it's just cheap Zerglings at the moment. He's just allowing himself to get his upgrades going. He has the armor upgrade on these Ultras, should have speed upgrade as well. Light gonna go for a drop on the main. There are some Scourge there. He has to be very careful not to get those picked off. Scourge, oh, ready to Scourge. He's gonna drop some forces. Comes Scourge coming in on the opposite side, and almost this entire group gets killed even before drops. Yeah, you can tell him sitting there going, oh, come on. Cannot really believe that happened. And now Kwanro going to move out. Ultra's going to get irradiated, but they're going to be able to come in at least pick off all of these forces. Has to use these Ultras. Just irradiated Ultras still very, very, very dangerous Ultras because, of course, they irradiate the Medic Marines that are close to them. Also going to move towards the 3 o'clock. Defiler, Dark Swarm, and a play. These Medic Marines are going to pick off, and GG coming in from Light. So Kwanro dominating here. Rolling. Light yeah, as soon as Light saw that Ultralisks, those Ultralisks in play, he should have known that Kwanro was on 5 base at the point, getting his fifth going and his 5th gas going. As soon as he spotted that, he was, there's no chance whatsoever with all the damage that's been done to me, no chance whatsoever for me to pull back into this. So GG, Kwanro rolling himself into a 2-0, and now Light is in trouble. So let's see what happens. GG guys, wrenching out.